Your boy HD. Everybody get up on the dance floor and go, and go, and go crazy. And go crazy. And go crazy. And go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the old to LA. Go crazy like a dum-dum. Eastside homeboy, where I come from. Dance on the floor till you go numb. No fighting, no hating, no red rum. This is OOO City. All the way to the bay, hit the bass, feel me. Catch a case cause it's beating up your Chevy. Get you moving side to side, getting all sweaty. Make it work it, work it, work it out. Turn the volume up loud. It's a draw crowd, make it all shout. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Hit play on the track and I'm ready. Like a quarterback, Tom Brady. Catch it all in the frenzy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, go, go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. We hook the buzz and turn the club up. They tear the rugs up as soon as we turn the subs up. Everybody hands high like a drug bust. Yeah, I'm from the West, only don't you see the dubs up. Baptize them on the spot, fill the tubs up. Now fraternize with the flocks, tell them fill the cups up. The show though, original, the types of photo. I go, crazy, crazy, yeah, loco, and solo. The coach, you know, I represent the Ocho. Immersing the devil, put the devil in the choco. Either I leave him on the mat flat out, the streets until he back out, or when they see him tap out, they go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the
Boy, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for outside to open. Just that little jam is all I need to get to bopping and rocking and moving around. Boy, I tell you, what is going on, Scoop Nation? It is that time yet again. It's Tuesday. It's going so fast. But I'm not mad. If all of the days out of the week that we can rush to, I won't be mad at Tuesday. If we can hurry up and every day we wake up, it feels like if my Groundhog Day could be Tuesday, I would be all right. That would be all right with my soul. What's going on, everybody? Let me stop rambling because I have a whole extra 2 hours for that. So I'm going to go ahead and get my job done real quick and welcome you all in to the show. We are so glad that you have decided to spend your Tuesday evening with us here at The Scoop, chopping it up, laughing it up, thinking through some things, talking through some things, growing together with one another, having a damn good time. That's pretty much the nutshell of it all. We just gonna have us a good time. And if you are new here, we want to tell you how you can always have a good time. No matter if it's tonight, you can catch a replay, you can share it with your mom and them later on, and you can tell them how they can stay locked in for all the good conversation we have all over these interwebs, all over Beyonce's internet. So to do that, you can follow us. I encourage you to follow us everywhere. Our reach is far and wide. We are on YouTube at The Scoop Show. We are on Facebook at Real Scoop Show. And we are on Instagram at Scoop Radio Show. So please go ahead and lock in by hitting that like button, that share button, whatever button it is that it needs to get you locked in and tuned in to The Scoop. Go ahead and do that for us. And we would be so grateful that you would do that for us. Aside from that, we would also very much appreciate it if you hit that comment section on this here live stream and tell us where you are tuning in from. We definitely like to see just who we are chatting with on a day-to-day, and we don't want to just jump in and get all in your brain. We want to get to know you, say, hey, how you doing? So let us know where you're tuning in from. Make sure you hit that share button so your people back on your Reggie know where you are so they can come on and tune in and join the conversation as well. I think that's all the P's and Q's and I's and T's that need to be dotted and crossed. Yeah. Hey, bro, just you and me today. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. This is gonna be good. Yeah, this is definitely gonna be good. So I'm glad we get to hang out. So yeah, I'm good.
It's been a while. We seem like we've had some good folks sitting on this couch with us for the last few weeks.
Absolutely, we've had a lot of really good, like you said, a lot of really good guests the last several weeks. So yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited to just hang out. Plus, we got some little different. We're gonna do some things a little different tonight, so I'm excited. Yeah. Because us, we could do some things. So,
yeah.
Do some things.
What's going on? Hey, Kelly. What's on, Shatoria? We got Washington, Florida. Hey, what's going on? Hey, Teresa.
Yeah.
Let's see everybody.
She's been with me all morning. She was there this morning on my when I did the interview this morning. So we've been rocking all day, huh? Since 6:30 this morning. So yeah.
Almost done. Y'all gonna sleep good tonight. Good.
Absolutely. I see Detroit. Okay. So you good? How you doing?
I am doing well. Today has been a blessed day. Okay. Like I won't go into great and grandiose details for the people, but yeah, today has been a very blessed day for this queen right here. So I'm very happy. And it's funny because not long after, it's just been a day of overflow. I will say that. And I am extremely blessed. So on top of all the other stuff that's been going on these last few weeks, today has been a good day. And I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it.
Absolutely.
Yes, Shatoria, a blessed day. Yes, sis. A very blessed day. Yes, ma'am.
I can't complain. Can't complain at all either. So
excited for these topics. Like we like doing this tonight, like with the back to back. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Hey, Medina, what's going on, sis?
How you doing? So real quick, before we jump into these topics real quick, of course, we want you to know that they are brought to you by our favorite Black-owned gas station, Bob Shamrock. Bob Shamrock is owned by, of course, our favorite other co-host, Kels. Bob Shamrock is located at 2901 Northwest 10th Street in Oklahoma City. Again, that's 2901 Northwest 10th Street. They're saying is at Bob Shamrock, you can pull up and fill up. So you can pull up, fill up your gas tank, fill up your stomach with that good food, with that good gas, play the lotto, get your lotto ticket. You can get what you need at Bob Shamrock. They're right across the street from the fairgrounds. Fairgrounds. So right there on the corner on Northwest 10th Street, in Oklahoma City. So yeah, so that's what we got. What's up, Orlando? Steph, how you doing? So yeah, I'm excited. Let's go ahead and jump in. Yeah, let's go. And so y'all, we're gonna need you, of course, as always. Like you said, hit the share button. If you have not hit the share button already, tag somebody if you haven't tagged somebody. And it is just Q&A tonight, so we need all your comments. Actually, it's not just me and you, because I'm sure at some point I'm gonna have an 8-year-old run behind my back. But
leave my nephew alone. Let him run around. That's all right. We haven't seen his face in too long anyway. Tell him gone away on him for me.
Now it's spring break, so yeah. So let's jump in. So y'all comment, share. That's tonight. All right, here we go. Let's jump into this first one.
Got my Birdman hands.
Right. This first one, 21 Savage says, women don't build. He says, a rich man can meet a broke woman and change her life, but a rich woman won't even look a broke man's way. Then he says, facts. Women don't build, they move in. Women don't build, they move in. All right, Q, go ahead.
So I'll come at this two ways. My initial thought was this is trash. I don't agree. I don't agree with this. Because we've seen not even rich women, like even just stable women, entertain men who are not stable yet and actually have goals and desire to build something. So there's that part. I think once a woman gets to a certain place in her life, she's kind of past that, and you have to be more than you just got to want more. So there's more than just liking you a little bit and figuring out I'm gonna give you a chance. That's a mindset shift that happens with that. So I think this is dumbing down it's a much deeper conversation to be had than this reduction of this. Mm-hmm. The second part of this, I will say, a person who seeks out people who are beneath them, or in a space that is not where they feel, I'm gonna leave it at beneath. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Someone who is beneath them as far as class or stature is concerned, a person who seeks that out as a security, that says a lot about, to me, that says a lot more about that person's confidence, security levels than any type of manipulation or shallowness that they could be trying to inflict on someone else. I'm like, how dare you say this is reduce it to that, but then you're saying, the rich man, broke chick, that's the only way that it's going to be building with. Like this, there are so many different holes to this as far as how relationships work. I just could not get with this at all. At all. Maybe there needed to be more words. Maybe just this facts turns me off all the time, but the whole, just the caption and leave it out there. There's more conversation to be had about this than just that.
I think in general, I would disagree with this. I can say from experience, personal experience, as well as professional experience, there are a lot of women who are willing to build. There are a lot of women who are like, hey, let's build. You know what I mean? They want that. So, well, I can't necessarily say that. I will say that the older we get, the older I get, the less I'm seeing of women who are tolerant of a certain kind of build. So if you're building from scratch, at 40, a lot of women is like, not player. You got to be a little further. But if you building with a foundation, and when I say foundation, I'm saying you can take care of yourself. So you gotta, if you want to start a business, the business is started, and you got some things in place that I've seen a lot of who are like, okay, I can do that, but they're not trying to come in at 40 and like, hey, let's. Again, unless she's in that same position too, or was recently in that position and is still, general, no. But I've seen some very successful women who are like, you can take care of yourself, take me out to dinner every so often, I'm good. Like, let's go. So I think it just really depends. It really depends. I also do see, I see some women also who are like, if he ain't got it, I'm not wasting my time. So, I mean, and interesting enough, the women who I actually see do that, as I think about it, aren't that well off. Just stuff like they're not really doing that well, But I still but
even with that being said, I can't be mad at you not wanting to also be with someone that's not well off. Like, you can say, I'm not interested in someone, because we see it happen all the time. If you are, if your main thing is, I don't want you to be broke, I need you to have a little bit more than that, then you need to be able to hold down some things. Okay, fine. If your attitude is good, you're willing to come in, do what you're supposed to do, we can have a good relationship. I just don't want to be with somebody who is in the same space as me. Meaning, I don't want us to both be sitting here struggling, trying to put our twos and fews together. I don't desire that for my life. I can't be mad at sis if that's what she decides to say, because there will be a man who understands that. will come right in and be like, all right, yeah, I see that. I'm already doing what I'm doing. I was doing this anyway. I like you. You're a good woman. You're just not where I'm at yet. Let me pull you along and do what we do. Like,
Yeah.
that's people. Because
Yeah.
there will still be a woman who, there could be a rich woman. There's always one that's going to reach back and say, I got you, bro. But it's just not something that you should expect. I think that expectation from either direction, man or woman, in 2021 is kind of silly.
I'm gonna say this.
To expect that.
Where I see it most, y'all, this might be actually, again, I'm just thinking about experience and personal person. Where I actually see it most, in terms of women who are willing to help build, is like, and that is what we would call cougars. You know, like women in that age range. That my experience have been more that I've seen are more likely to like, hey, listen, you good? I know, been there, and usually the man is younger. So I mean, I think it's a trade off, you know, but there's probably a trade off in that area too. So again, it just depends on the, like what Medina said. What we desire does exist in most instances. The problem, anyway, I said this morning, the problem is typically that you might have to settle on some, you know, they might be ugly, but you know, they might not be the most physically appealing person to you, but yes, you can find.
Or just the ideal person. There's that one quirk thing that you thought I'd never, and then here they come with that thing, but everything else is right in alignment. Like, damn it.
I think we just have to stop. I'm not gonna say stop. Keep looking, like you said, keep looking, and I think what we have to realize is that when we have particularities, when there are particularities about our story or about what we want, we have to understand that it diminishes the dating pool. Like if you want, just like if I want, you know, a black woman who's 5'5", you know, this complexion, this, like I am looking for a very specific type of person, which means my pool of people is so small that, you know, because I'm only dealing with people who are just like that. So I think we have to recognize that, because if you don't find that quick, you know, you could be waiting for a while. You could, you could be out there looking if you're not willing to compromise on something. So I think, but if that's what you want, by all means,
do you?
By all means, have fun. Have fun. Like, you know, I ain't dating no Ugg mugs. Let's see what she say. I saw something. Oh. Victoria says, I got what I want. I got what I want, what I needed, and not what I wanted. And it was worth it. And I'm, yeah. That's my prayer. That's my prayer right there is, Lord, always give me what I need, what I want.
And a lot of the time, that's it. Honestly, when you hear those stories and folks are sitting going, what? How did that happen? Them do like, you know what I mean? When everyone on the outside is looking in and wondering why, that's often the story they say, that wasn't what I wanted, but it is absolutely what I needed, and my life has been the better for it. And everybody's, oh, yeah, that's the
ugly. Like that's the only one. I'll be honest with you, that to me is the only one I just don't understand. I just feel like the Lord knows that I can't roll over in the middle of the night and be thinking
somebody's cute to everybody. So everybody's cute to
somebody. Exactly. I mean, but I'm just saying, you know, for my idea of beautiful, the Lord knows that even my compromise, I'm like, Lord, my compromise needs to be in a package. But in the middle of the night, I ain't got to roll over and be like, oh my bad. My bad, baby. I'm sorry. At 3 a.m, I ain't trying to be like,
oh my goodness.
Hey, how you doing? But she speaks, but she's such a good prayer warrior. The Lord needed a prayer warrior.
You say it ain't a chicken leg good enough? It ain't one out. They ain't made it yet. Ain't a seasoning situation good enough.
I ain't heard a tongue that's that good. I ain't heard nothing that made. Anyway, I digress. We know where we can compromise. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Says Tori says, I had a list and God laughed at it. Yeah, that typically happens.
He does that on a Reggie, don't he?
The little accused makeup is fire. Thank you. I was gonna say my makeup ain't bad either. But,
Thank you, Tori.
she said we had people wondering now we're together 17 years. Hey, see what you deserve exists. You know where you can compromise.
You talking about you and them looks that you was so adamant about not having be left field.
I can't compromise on that one. Can't compromise on that one. All right, let's go to the next one. So what's next? Ah, yes. Gender neutral bathroom.
Lord have mercy.
Oh shoot, where'd it go?
It don't want to talk about it either. No, I'm playing. It doesn't understand either.
All right. So Sean said it's a gender neutral bathroom. If you choose to go ahead and use the bathroom, you can't expect the opposite sex to wait outside till a person is done or can. Thoughts. All right. I used a gender neutral bathroom today, and 2 men came in while I was washing my hands. Man number 1 didn't care and used the bathroom in front of me. Man number 2 waited outside the bathroom till I left after seeing me inside. I thanked man number 2 for respecting my privacy. I felt so violated. And the response from Millie Rock is, man number 1 treated you as an equal in a gender neutral bathroom. Man number 2 treated you like a woman. I don't know which one you want as treatment, but both treated you with respect and neither violated you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with Millie Rock. I've seen this post in a couple different groups, and after reading through the comments, I had an additional question, meaning because most gender neutral bathrooms are one stall only, or there are multiple stalls, but they have doors situated like most bathrooms. So I'm interested in what type of restroom this was, or like, did she just not lock the door and he came on in? You know what I mean? Like, how does that situation work? But with all that being said, and just for conversation's sake, if this is a traditional restroom where multiple people are able to come in and, at the same time, and there are stalls with doors, I don't expect someone to wait outside for me to use the restroom simply because I'm a different gender in a gender neutral restroom.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do that. So I don't think she was violated, nor was she disrespected. She probably does not agree with the whole having of the gender neutral bathrooms in the first place, which, for the fact that this wasn't like a clear thing. And we go straight to violated or disrespect. that escalated kind of quickly, for just using the restroom. But I honestly do not get the frustration behind these bathrooms. Like, you go into a stall to do your business, or it's just you in the restroom and you close the door. Like, why does that? From the very beginning, I have not understood why this is such a big deal. But yeah, I think sis is super overreacting in this particular situation.
Yeah, my first question was, okay, I read this 3 times, like, okay, maybe I missed something, or maybe there's a part of this conversation that I don't know.
Right.
Because to me, I felt like they both respected very well. So I was like, well, my thought was, what was disrespectful about it? Like, you expected them to wait? Again, like you said, unless it's a single person facility.
Right. And then lock your door. I guarantee you there's a lock on the door. If this is a public space and there is only one in and out, there's a lock on that door. Lock the door. Anyone could walk in. Women assault women too. Y'all know that, right? Like, we do know that women assault women too.
Absolutely.
You're not super safe in an all women's restroom, and women can overpower you. Like, we don't know what you're going to do in a violated type of situation. So this part, if it's a matter of safety, then let's just be safe across the board. Lock your doors, and lock the door when you're going, it's just you. But like, women violate women as well. Men get violated by men and vice versa. So it's like.
So my thing was, because at first I thought, well, then why not just, if you feel like a man would come in and violate you, or a man coming in is disrespectful, why didn't you just go to the women's room? But then to
But
your
some
point,
places don't have them.
they just
It's
have
cost
gender.
effective for a business to have one restroom that allows both genders to go in and out. That's
Sure.
one space that you got to deal with plumbing, supplies, cleanliness, all of that.
Yeah. And if that's the case, then yes, then okay, then we're back to again. Then what did you expect
Right.
in that type of space? And I was like, I don't understand why she felt disrespected or anything like that. I was just
I don't get it.
thrown. I was thrown. I wondered what the expectation, why that was the expectation. And then I wondered, I walked away thinking, this isn't a personal, I mean, this isn't a gender issue. This is I am still uncomfortable issue, because if you are comfortable with what you're doing, to me, what they doing, I'm gonna be honest with you. If a woman, and as speaking as a man, so I understand it's different. If a woman walks into a man's bathroom and I got to use the bathroom, I'm using the bathroom.
Yep. And women since forever have said when the line is too long in the women's room, they will duck into the men's room and use the bathroom. Do you think you're more safe when you're trying to duck the line and run yourself into a packed men's room to use the bathroom because they don't use the stalls? But you want to cut the line? Oh, okay. But women all over, some women who will still disagree and will lock down hard on this whole gender neutral, blah, blah, blah. We don't want to share. I'm violated, da, da, da. But then we'll have stories of the club. The line was long and I needed to go, girl, and ran right into the men's room and did their thing. So if a man saw you run your tail into that bathroom and cornered you in there, no one's looking crazy because the men walked into the men's room. You're not where you're supposed to be.
You went in there. Yeah, it was.
So I'm like, let's just call it what it is. If you have a problem with that, then say that. But let's not convolute it and do all this extra and make it about a bathroom. You go to relieve yourself in the bathroom and get out of there. Like, that's it.
Ain't a whole lot happening in the bathroom except for you trying to wipe down, especially a public bathroom. You trying to wipe down the seats and make sure you don't step in nothing. That's all you really trying to do.
Get on, get out of there.
Anyway, got to squat and anyway, I digress. So yeah. Anyway, had a flash.
Got some comments on this one.
Let's see. So true. Stephanie said both treated her with respect. Agree. Teresa said, I've been in one before. I had to go. The stall locked, and there were both genders in it. It was in a restaurant in Atlanta. Victoria says, right. Stay with the women's bathroom. Yeah, that's something. If I think that this is what she needs to do, because clearly she's uncomfortable being around with men being in the bathroom, and not what gender neutral bathrooms offer.
That whole neutral word just is
context clues.
Yeah.
All right. Stephanie said her comment about feeling validated is part of the reason it's hard for women to be taken seriously in so many aspects.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah, because I think that it's like the little boy who cried wolf. You do that too many times, and people just be like, just tune you out. So, yeah. Shatoria says, lock the door.
Lock it.
Salute. Yep. Absolutely. Lock the door, or just don't go into gender neutral bathroom. So, all right. This is an interesting one. I'm laughing. All right. If you were with a man for 7 years, helping him while he went from average to a 7-figure producer, would you allow him to break up and take his resources to another woman to enjoy on day one? If you were with a man for 7 years, helping him while he went from average to a 7-figure producer, would you allow him to break up and take his resources to another woman to enjoy on day one? Let me go first on this one.
Yes, please.
Woo! All right. So, well, I'm gonna be honest with you. This, if I flip this was me. I mean, this is me. Like, in some aspects, I mean, when I got married, she wasn't making. Well, she wasn't set 7 figures. She was 7 figures, but when we got married, we started dating. She wasn't making that. She wasn't making no money. Neither was I. I was in college. When we got divorced, she was making very good money. Very good money.
Mhm.
So I would say for me, there is no price tag on peace.
Mhm.
And if I felt like the relationship was not working, then the amount of money that the person makes would not be the reason why I would stay.
Mhm.
And I'm removing that whole allow word. I know a lot of people got triggered by allow on the post. I'm gonna skip over that and just and think of it in the spirit that this post meant. So I'm not forcing a relationship with somebody because of their income. Number one, as a man, I can make my own money. And as a woman, you can make your own money. Number two, there's just no price tag on peace. So if we're not working, if the communication is bad, if we're not going in the same direction anymore, if our purposes are off, if you're disrespectful and dishonorable, if you're abusive, you know what I mean, like all of these things, I'm good. Like I'm good. Now let me the bad side to that is I am gonna be pissed off when I look up and see you going on vacations and be like, this we were struggling to go to our mama house, you know what I mean, for the weekend.
All right.
I'm looking up and now you going to Dubai?
Yeah.
Like Dubai? I'm like, Lord. I ain't gonna lie, so I'll tell y'all this story. I'm gonna let you. So I remember the first time I took, I think I told you about this. The first time I took Trey home and my ex-wife had bought her a house, I pulled up to the house. I was like, damn, this is nice.
Yeah, like, oh, okay.
I pulled it. I was pissed. I was
Yeah.
I was mad as hell because I had no furniture in my apartment.
You made me drop my phone.
I had no furniture in my apartment. Shit, like a 5-bedroom.
You're like, oh, is this what we do? Is no, like, oh, girl in that commercial. Oh, so this how you gonna do me?
Like, really, Jesus, this is what we do. This is what we do. And the whole attitude for the rest of the day.
You say, you know what?
I had a whole attitude for the rest of the day.
I'm sure.
It was like,
turn the music off on the way home. It was a quiet way off. You need to be quiet with yourself.
I didn't want to hit nothing. I was just like,
oh man.
I was like, this is what we do.
Yeah, he said, let me turn this damn music down. Oh, so you just let me roll up with my baby in the house like you couldn't give me no one?
No ain't no Kirk Franklin, no ain't no Fred Hammond. We can just forgive this. I was mad. I ain't gonna lie, I was mad.
No Fred Hammond. He wanted to stomp. He said, where my guys? He makes me. You had a Kirk Franklin moment.
This is not Kirk.
Oh my god.
It was so funny.
Oh baby. So growth. so grateful for growth.
But after that, I was, you gotta get over it. Like, hey, all right, so where I am now is, like I said, my peace is way more important.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. All right, go ahead. Whew, that was funny.
So, full disclosure, and why I had to pass the torch real quick at the beginning of this one. Upon my first read of this post, I had to personally pause because for those of you who don't know, my husband is a music producer. So when I read this and was like, wait, what? Like, it was one of those, so I had to process that. And so in my mind, I approach this particular scenario as producer, meaning they now produce 7, 6 figures, however many figures was in the post. They went from average to a big money producer. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to apply the production of music to this post to try and remove as much of the other ish that immediately attached itself to my psyche when I read through these posts. So with that being said, yeah, there's really nothing you can do about this. The whole allow thing, this is why this is honestly as critical or cynical as it may sound, this is why I am a huge proponent for the whole we join, we become one, but don't be no damn fool. You always keep some type of stability, security situation set up for yourself because humans are going to human. Period at the end. So, people always look at me like, you always got one foot out the door. No, I got one foot with a roof over it, is what I have. You know what I mean? So, because folks be caught out here crazy. And that's how a lot of this bitterness comes. A person who is set up and has stability and somewhat foundation, they're going to cry in the car, they're going to go through their process, but they're going to be okay. But a person whose life gets shattered due to something like this happen, where they literally have to rebuild their lives, not just find a couple new friends and a couple new hangout spots, you know what I mean? And just, adjust some things. People who have to rebuild their livelihoods after supporting, taking care of, building up, compromising, doing all of that other stuff behind loving somebody, and then you just decide, I'm good. No. So yeah, I can understand why somebody hit you with the allow, because now they feel like, oh hell no, you won't. Like, so I can see why somebody hit it with the allow word. Like, even though she can't allow or disallow, she feels like there should be some type of control she should have over that. But you don't, sis. You don't. He gonna go. And I'm not in the business of keeping folks who don't want to be kept. Like, I've outgrown that stage of my life. So whether it be 7, 17, 27, I wish you well. What is this Saweetie said? Take care. Take care. Something like that. She hit her with that Drake. Take care. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you have to do. Oh. Yes, Melina. That's how people end up on Snap. Yes. Yeah.
I think exactly. I think that the reality of it is if a person doesn't want to get kept, they're gonna show you.
Yeah.
And some people, I think some people are daring you to do it. Like some people don't actually think that you will do that. They think there's some people out there, men and women, who think that because they are now a 7-figure earner, that this is now, and we hear this all the time. We hear that if you're gonna be with a 7-figure man, if you're gonna be with an NBA player, with an NFL player, be prepared because they're going to do this and that, and that's not the reality. Is this is no, you don't have to allow, but people gonna do it, and they're gonna dare you. They're gonna dare you and test your character to say, is this lifestyle that I provide for you, that I give you, is this more important than me being faithful, than me being this person? And you have to decide in yourself, in your own inner person, what you will and what you will not take. So that's an individual choice. And I feel like personally that the person who loves themselves, is the person who says, I'm going to do what's best for me, and I'm not going to allow your money to determine whether I stay or whether I leave. Mm-hmm. That's just that to me. That's my personal opinion. And plus, my thing is, if the only reason you're here is for the money anyway,
Right.
what life is that?
Yeah.
What kind of life?
That's more money for me to enjoy some other stuff for right now. I will be okay. Your hearts will be okay. Like, you know what I mean? Peace. Yes. You can't put a price tag on peace.
No price tag on peace. Y'all hear me when I tell you.
Yeah.
No.
And maybe that's something we grow into. Maybe that is it. Because when you're younger, you desire people over peace. Having a person, people, because we do other stuff to keep people around us and the energy going and the illusion of love from friends, family, you know, all kinds of different things from people who are not always out for our best interest.
Yeah.
And after a while, we get to the point where none of that matters nearly as much as it did before. Now you be like, oh, y'all can stay over there. I prefer you stay over there if we just gonna be honest. You know what I mean? If I don't want to discuss it, it's a non-negotiable. You just stay on over there. And I think that's really something that we grow into. And you can't get it. You can't get it through to someone who's not to that point yet. They still trying to hem and haw and bend and, you know, do all the stuff to make it okay. And we looking like, nah, have fun with that.
Yeah.
We'll see you in a little while. You'll get here. You know what I mean? That's really how you feel about it.
Yeah, because it doesn't work. It doesn't work out. I don't care what anybody says, whether it's a job, whether it's a person, whether it's a friendship, whatever it is. Listen, the money ain't worth it.
No.
And I like money. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. It ain't worth it. So let's see the comments. Steph said that's a whole word right there. You can't invest your all in any person or thing. Dana says, hell no, peace over everything. I said, you know what's funny part is? The thing I've realized, when you actually have peace and you have confidence in yourself, you don't worry about money. Because you become a better you become a more centered person, you become a more focused person, and money, and you become and I always say money is attracted to excellence. So you become an excellent person, and money finds you. You don't have to go find it. So and the truth is, the person who became a 7-figure producer, you probably part of the reason why they got to that. So guess what?
That's why you mad.
Go do it again.
Yeah.
And do it faster. And you'll be all right.
But honestly, these situations is how you get to the folks in the other situation that we was talking about earlier, where they be like, nah, I ain't doing that. That's why after you get so many folks to the next level and you still starting back at ground, like, boy, y'all better look at the sequence. Y'all want to act like we don't see what happens prior to the chick who says, I'm done. Bring your things with you. I need you to bring your table, your chairs, and the dishes when you show up. You know what I mean? Because I've done that. I've had to pack out too many times and leave my things. Bring your own things. You know what I mean? Because anybody got time for that. To a certain age, I like my things. These are my things. You know, and sorry.
Man, I get it.
Not sorry, actually.
I get it.
At all.
Look, I get it. Absolutely. Let's see. All right. This one was interesting, I thought. So Anthony said, deadbeat dads get more attention for the things they don't do than active fathers get for the same thing. Deadbeat dads get more attention for the things they don't do than active fathers get for the same thing. Go for it.
So I included with a lot of other people were kind of confused by where this was supposed to go. And I asked for clarification, but I didn't get it. But I think what they're trying to say is like regular dudes who, you know, dads who are doing what they're supposed to catch flack for what deadbeat dads do or don't do. So like, even if they're doing all of the things, there's always something to be brought up about the dads who aren't. And it takes some of the thunder away from what real dads are, you know, what good dads are doing, is what I think he's saying.
Yeah, I agree with that. So deadbeat dads aren't there, but the good dad is. But we always hear about the dad that's not there and not praised for the good dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or for the father that is there. I ain't gonna say good or bad, but yeah. What do you think? You agree with that? Disagree?
I do, but then I don't at the same time because it depends on the context. To me, this sounds like one of those situations where, like, if we're talking about deadbeat dads, that's fine. But if we're talking about, I'm one of those stay focused. I think that's one of those focused because rarely do I see, and I'm not a dad, so I have not been in this position. That's why I was asking questions on the post because I wanted to have a better understanding. But I have not seen where we're in a situation where we're praising fathers for being good dads. And someone says, well, let's remember all the deadbeat dads. There are times where we're discussing something about deadbeat dads or a negative. Let's just say a negative in general. And the people who don't feel they identify with that are sick of that conversation. So they jump in with the, oh, well, it's not all of us, that thing. And then that derails the conversation. And that's not what we were even talking about. But now we want to bring up something to try and, again, cloud the situation. And that's not, I see that happen way more than I see us having a positive conversation and then someone interject, well, what? No, nope. Actually, as soon as I was about to say an example, I heard that in my voice. I've seen comments. That's not true. That's not true. And that's sad. Actually, that is sad. So I have seen it where we're having a good conversation. Well, not all men do that. What about other? And that's, yeah. And it's irky. It is irky. I just got that flash in my brain and I'm like, yeah, that's ugly energy when I hear that. So it happens, but I don't think it I still, even as much as that irritates me, and I'm not even at all trying to defend those women because like I am not for that. Mm-hmm. I still don't see it as often as we're having a conversation, a very direct, we have a subject matter with examples that we are discussing enough details in this scenario to not throw in the not all of us situation. And I think that's what got people confused because the majority of the people on the post were like, you don't get praise for doing the things that you're supposed to do. Like, why are we going out of our way to say good job for raising the kids that you made? You know what I mean? The people within your house, and I know that that's what I said. The people within your household are supposed to praise you for being great for those people within your household. But as soon as you start looking outside of your home for people to praise you for things obligations you made to people within your home, I think you're looking in the wrong place. You're going to always be disappointed because that doesn't mean the same to people outside your home as it does to the people inside. It doesn't affect them the same.
Okay.
So that was a lot, I know, but again,
so here okay. So using it the way you did, I could see that. Mm-hmm. I think where I agree with what Anthony is saying on this, in the sense that if we expand this to something a little bigger, there are movements celebrating women, mothers, etc., as there should be. But there are not large-scale movements celebrating good fathers. I think what he's saying is the noise that we get or we hear culturally, and I mean not just Black culture, but culture in general, is louder about Black fathers or fathers not being there, period, as opposed to praise for the ones who are there. I actually think that one of the things we should consider changing is this idea that we should not, as a community, praise men for doing what they're supposed to do. Because I say that because I think that in a situation or in the position of a man, there are some other things that are being asked to do, we're being asked to do. And it's very difficult to do those in the context of no positive reinforcement at all. Mm-hmm. So I think that we should really think about like, should we do a better job as a society of looking at good fathers and celebrating good fathers, just like I would say about good marriages, instead of talking about the bad aspects of marriages all the time, but look at good marriages and say, listen, yes, marriage is difficult, but these are some of the things that are happening. We should do the same thing with men. Not even so much. Well, yes, for the good men that are out there doing it. A and B, because I think it would then help inspire some of the ones that we would call deadbeat to be that. Because now it no longer becomes it becomes something that we give excuse for. It gives, you know what I mean? Like, I think we just have to do. I think it helps them some, not all, because if you ain't nothing, you just ain't nothing. But but for the ones who I think are like kind of in the middle of like, I want to do it, but I'm tired and I need that extra push to kind of do what I need to do. And I understand we shouldn't have to. I get it, but
as you see my face changing, the deeper you go, I'm like,
I know, and I get it. But I'm just saying, I think that that especially now, I'm gonna make it micro, especially in the Black community. Because of the place that we are as a Black community, the necessity to see more men, and the fact that numbers are showing that Black fathers are actually showing up, and we don't even really hear about that. So we rarely hear.
Well, we do. I don't know. I guess this is where I kind of step back, where we have this conversation, when we're in this conversation in general, because we talk about Mother's Day and how mothers and Black mothers and all this other stuff, because this is our target. Let's just go on and get it in there. We talk about how they receive praise and how it's the commercialized, and everyone makes all the big hoorah, and that is true. Completely agree with that. It happens, but we have to own the fact that while yes, there are men in our homes, there we have amazing fathers. I know amazing fathers. I reach out and touch amazing dads, Black dads all around, and all that other thing. We also have to own that there was not a mass exodus, regardless of the reasons why. There was not a mass exodus or removal of Black mothers or mothers. That was this whole resurgence of amazing Black men in the homes that are taking back communities and rebuilding families is a new thing. So it is not going to get the same fanfare. If you're looking for the fanfare and the celebrations to match, it's not. The history is not there. So that's why you see more of the Black dads matter. Black dads are great. Black love is this. We're seeing those things. They're getting traction, and we have to continue to push those things. And when we see folks show up on the post that we're trying to elevate and celebrate the Black dads who are there, the Black men who are elevating and pouring back into the community, we have to this ain't the post for that. This is not the space for that. We're celebrating over here. There's 59,000 other posts for you to go in on the dudes that ain't doing what they supposed to. These dudes doing what they supposed to. And that is our job, because we do see that. We've been begging, crying, pleading for the daddies to come home. Sis, they're coming on home. So now when they get there, we have to make it welcome. We have to make it comfortable for them to be there. And we have to protect them within that space, so that when that other stuff shows up, we can say, no. Yes, that happened. Those are those dudes. These men over here are doing what they're supposed to. And we have to stand up and say that just as loud as we do when we talk crazy about the dudes that don't. But I'm like, we can't just cry. We can't just keep crying about the fact that the men don't get no love. The men get love. Y'all are getting love. Continue to show up and do what you're supposed to do without the celebration. Because it is what you're supposed to do. It is what you signed up for. That's your baby. You made that baby. So yeah, that's on you, player. Yeah, but the consistency and the fruit of your work is what's going to continue to have that celebration. Don't have the women that's protecting you and pom-pomming for you out here looking like fools because you're mad because the party didn't start fast enough. What are you really doing it for? You know what I'm saying? Because I get it. I get it. You got to support it, but let's just.
I think most good Black fathers don't know that they're good Black fathers. If you ask them individually, I think most men would tell you, most good fathers would tell you they're not. And I don't know where that disconnect is or comes from. I have an idea, but most of them would say, I'm not a good dad.
Honey, that's parenting. If you sit in any group with mamas, it is nothing but post about how we are failing. I almost cussed. How we are we are not doing well. Like that is a part of parenting. You know, I'm just.
I hear you, but what I'm saying is, but if you're saying that there is a louder voice for women who are doing what they're supposed to be doing, then to counteract that, I'm saying that the same veracity and loudness, and I get the point and agree that it is a fairly newer thing that we are in number that we are, but even still, I think there still needs to say something. You know, I think something needs to be inspected, done different. I don't know.
It should be done more. I do agree with you that it should be done more. Yes.
Yeah.
But I also think all the other stuff that I said.
The conversation. Victoria says there's a lot of thunder taken away from great dads. Yeah. James says, I just think that Black men are often critical of being good fathers. So when you do have a good, solid Black man in the house, they aren't appreciated enough. Victoria says fathers deserve the same loud noise mothers get as well. Amen. Praise that. Praise them too. The Black fathers don't get praise. I see more bashing of them than anything. Stephanie says, I can get with that, WB. There's a lot of praise to moms for doing what they're supposed to do. We should praise fathers as well. And let me say, I think, again, we're talking about Black fathers now, but as a whole, I think we could do a better job of praising us, period. So I think specifically right now we're talking about Black fathers, but I do think, you know, and James actually, I looked down here, said something similar to what I was going to say, but I do think that as a culture in general, our focus has to be on, you know, we talk about solutions and lifting each other up more so than the tearing of each other down. So, praising fathers that aren't consistent turns into a manipulation tactic from them. Oh, you were just saying how I was good, but it was 3 weeks ago. Okay, yeah. I know that I'm a good father. Yeah, he says, I just think the psychology around Black fatherhood is not fully understood. It takes a lot to raise Black men in particular in this society.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's jump to this last one since we got 1 more minute. Whew.
Yes.
Whew. Yes.
This one shouldn't even take long.
Listen, this is a nutshell right here.
Yeah.
If you think a man should pay all the bills, then that's perfectly fine. Date someone that agrees. If you think it should be 50-50, then that's perfectly fine. Date someone that agrees. Y'all problem is you want to convince people, listen to this, you want to convince people who don't agree rather than just date someone who holds the same values. That's why this topic is so annoying. Listen.
Like super annoying.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Facts. So I can say it's facts.
I like save this to my phone to be able to post when these to comment this when posts show up. Brother Brody deserves Cash App. I wish he would have hashtagged his Cash App at the end of this post because I would have sent him a couple of dollars. Because yeah, this is it.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I don't know why we do this. Like, why do we do? I don't know what it is. I don't know why we are so entertained by the conversation about people who don't want you. That's essentially what you're doing. You're like having a debate about why these people don't want me but should. That's not your people. Those are not your people.
I could be honest with you. In times that I've done that, it's usually because there was something about the other person that I wanted them. Like there was something about me that I wanted the other person to see. And the reality is, them not seeing it didn't mean anything less about me. It just meant, like you said, they weren't my people.
Yeah.
That's just not where that person fit in my life, and that's okay. You have to be okay with, with people respecting who you are, but not wanting to be in that intimate space with you.
Yep.
And that's absolutely okay.
You got to know what your foundation things are and what your easy breezies are. The things that you can be easy breezy on, and okay, yeah, I'm good. Know those things. Make those things clear. Those things that are your foundations. This is not moving. This is how I like things to be, so that I can be the happy me that you love and want to love, honor, cherish forever. Sickness, health, death do you part. These are my non-negotiables. Either you take them or you leave them, because this is how I'm built. You know what I mean? And we have to be okay with that. It's not. It doesn't change because he's fine or she's fine or they got money. Like, that should not change. If you want forever, you want a little bit of time, you want a couple of days, the season or so, then okay, fine. But you got to get clear on those core things.
You know what? Like in my 20s and 20s, it was like, yes, I could change them. They could. And at 41, I'm like, I'm looking for easy. Mm-hmm. Like how can we make this easier? Is there any way?
Yep.
Oh, that's too much work for me. I'm sorry. All right. I'm just gonna look at you from a distance,
Because I'm already done. You know what I mean? At this point, like
this is me. Like it ain't too at this point in my life, it ain't too much more changing that's gonna happen. Like this is it. So
yeah. I think it was a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months. I don't know where it was on my Reggie on here. I said, we are so fast to say I'm not for everybody, but then be mad when everybody don't want us. Like, how does that even work? Like, I'm not for everybody. Everybody ain't for me, but then be upset when the one that you is not, that's not for you. Like, move along. I'm not gonna argue back and forth about that. I'm not gonna do that. Not doing it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna go there. We'll share that one for later. We'll share that for later. It's too soon to be talking about this one.
Okay.
All right. I'll talk about that later because, whoo, I've been delivered. I've been delivered. Y'all don't understand. All right. So, of course, this Hot Topics was brought to you, of course, again, by Bob Shamrock. Bob Shamrock is, again, owned by Kels. It is at 2901 Northwest 10th Street, where you can pull up and fill up your gas tank and fill up your stomach at Bob Shamrock at 2901 Northwest 10th Street. Mm-hmm. Also, let me go ahead and do it now. So for those who have not heard, last Thursday, I announced the official pre-sale release of my first relationship book called How to Survive Relationship Storms. It will be out, so it's available now for pre-sale orders, and for $20 you can get it at the website today. Again, it's $20. Surviving Relationship Storms. In this, I give you some skills, I give you some tools, I give you what you need not to have a storm, because I believe relationship storms are inevitable. I believe that they're inevitable and that they're purposeful. So my goal with this book is to change how you see a storm, and then also give you some things that you can do before, in, and after a storm to help it take your relationship to another level. So it's not just for married people, it's for single people as you head into relationships, and as well as for people who are married. So get it today. Again, How to Survive Relationship Storms. And thank you to everyone who has already ordered. I really, really appreciate all of y'all. Mike, you said, what's the website? It's the bit.ly link on the bottom, but I'll put the link in the comments as well. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump into these questions. Where am I?
Lord, these questions. This is going to be fun, y'all. You guys don't go ghost on us now. this last hour. We need
Oh,
y'all to go on and tap in. You got to give people some backstory on where these questions are coming from, bro.
All right. So these questions we're about to go through. Last Friday, I hosted a relationship for a virtual relationship forum. Some of you are at. No, Shatoria was there. There were some other people that were there. We had a blast. An absolute fun time. So the next time we have one, y'all need to show up. But it was fun. We had a good time. We played some games. We asked some questions. And as a part of our forum, people submitted questions to us. And we didn't get a chance to get through all of the questions. And so I said, well, let's talk about some of these tonight. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about some of these questions tonight. Yeah, thank you, Shatoria. It was dope. We're going to do another one. Trying to find this link. Sorry. All right. Trying to do two things at one time. Mike asked for the link. I'm trying to give him the link.
Oh, hell, I could have typed it by now. Shoot. You should have just said that's what you was clicking around.
I got it now.
Communication.
There it is, Mike. All right. So these are some of the questions again that we did not get a chance to. But again, we're gonna have another one, and then you'll get to ask more questions. But these were the questions that we did not get to ask in the relationship forum. So here we go. The first question is how do I introduce a vibrator into my relationship? How do I introduce a vibrator into my relationship? Q, you can go first.
Have him watch you use it. Men love it. It is one of the sexiest things ever. I suggest you set him up, set the mood, make it sexy, do the candles, set him directly across from you or however y'all like to do your thing, and say, I want you to see what this looks like, how I do it. And then you do it together. I'm just saying it generally gets the job done. He cannot watch you do that and not be, well, no, yeah, he can. If you have a sexually open man who's usually down for some freaky deaky, likes to do some different things, then that's the route that I would go. If you're just trying to throw something spicy in there and he's not feeling some type of way about his performance and all of those other things, then that is absolutely the show fire, show shot way to get it in. Okay. 9 times out of 10, you won't be making it to the promised land. Y'all gonna figure it out real fast. Boom, but yeah. And then, there's a lot of things that you can do once you cross over that spot. However, if he's in some type of, I don't really know how to address that whole other. I don't understand that, like, because thank you.
So here. First of all, I would before I would do it, I would tease the conversation. If you're not sure, if you're not sure that he's the type of man that would be cool with it, tease the conversation and make sure you don't do it in a season where he is not performing well.
Yeah.
You're doing it in a season where his performance is bad and he's already insecure and he's already feeling like he ain't cutting the mustard. This is not that's not the best time to do it. But if he is, tease it in conversation, and when I say teasing in conversation, I mean it could be something as simple as, somebody else is doing it and be like, what you think about that? I'm gonna try it. Something just to throw it out there, to put it on his mind. So in the moment, you don't just whip it out and like, here. Yeah. You're like, hold on, wait a minute. First of all, where you get that from? So
how long you had it? How often you like,
yeah. And then I would say be careful about the kind that you get. So let's just be honest. If he is, don't get something if he's an insecure man, don't get something that's bigger than him. And that's going to have him thinking that you replacing him. Like, dudes, our ego can be really weird.
Let me tap in on this one, sis. Skip the male anatomy type vibrators, period, dot, the end.
Yeah.
Keep those for yourself. Leave that in the drawer. Get you the little roll situation. Get you the little rabbit situation. Get you the little things that little circles, cones, flowers, petals, feminine things. Nothing that even vaguely resembles him. And you in a much better place. Go ahead, Win.
Yeah. Outside of that, I mean, then like you said, I mean, once I think I would also, to just me, I'm gonna come to that one. I'm gonna come to that back to that. I thought Sinead comment. Sinead, to your comment, it depends on the kind that you were trying to ease him into. So if it was another woman, probably not. And if it was another man, you might want to be wondering why he okay with it, but that's a different story. Yeah.
I love you.
Sinead made me lose my train of thought because it's funny.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to be careful. I was going to say, if he's wise, then you also use it as a teaching tool. Mm-hmm. Like if he's smart, he's watching. Like, okay, I know what to do. Got it. Brothers, let me help you. It doesn't replace you. It doesn't replace you. If you're wise, you use it to your advantage. Mm-hmm. Help you. We'll talk about that on the relationship forum when I'm not on. When my mom ain't tuning in, but
and there's pleasure in it for you too. Like, get out of your. You better stop acting like that. Stop acting like that. I'm gonna try and keep us where we can still run ads, but
it's a blessing in store for you too, sir. So so it doesn't replace you. So that's how I would introduce it again. Like I said, just don't do it when he having the bad moment. If he done told you he got ED, that's probably not the time to be like, hey, let me try this. You might want to introduce him to some black seed oil and some sea moss first, and then once he get up and going, then you can be like, hey, let's throw this in there too.
And his coffee.
Some blue rhino or something.
Don't you do that. Have that man's heart racing crazy. Don't you do that. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Liquid Cialis.
Don't do that.
Liquid Cialis in his orange juice or something.
Oh my God.
Don't do that. I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Bad advice with Panda. Like, let's
no liquid Cialis. All right. Oh God. Anyway. All right. Next question. This question says, why does my partner not want to have sex as often? Why does my partner not want to have sex as often?
As often as what? As before? As you? As others?
Yeah. Let's just say as before. The way I took it was as before. Like, yeah, that's the way I took that.
There's a lot of reasons why. If this is it could be either one, but speaking from a woman's perspective, there could be hella reasons why there's not a desire for sex often. It could be physical. Our bodies do ridiculous.
Sorry. My bad. Sorry about that.
Okay. Our bodies go through changes a lot of the times that we don't even know about that affect our sex drive. We talk about it all the time about us being in our heads. Women start having sex here before anything below our necks get even vaguely, before they even know what's happening. It has to happen up here. If something has happened in the relationship, that can shut things down, from it being money or romantic issues. Like, there's a whole lot from a woman's perspective. Women don't. Now, let me not say that, because as soon as I say that, there'll be two women who will pop out. I can do it anytime, even. Okay, good for you, sis. Just generally, okay, there are women who it takes us a little bit more to get there, to stay there, to be as in tuned, and ready and willing and all that, to do that. So already there's a lot that comes there, that comes with us getting sexual. So if something has changed and it's not as often, it's not an issue, it's not a time to be all, that's a time to tune in and try and start, figuring out some things, but do it in a loving way. Because if it comes in a defensive or a way of like what's wrong, like what is it, then that is just gonna further the time it takes for y'all to get there. So I can't answer why it's not as often. That is a question you absolutely have to ask your spouse and be very willing to hear the answer to that. You know what I mean? And be willing to take action on that answer. Because if it ends up being something that you can take action in, or you have been affecting why it's not happening, then that's your time to say, oh, okay, cool. We can have a conversation about it. But if it's something that you can take action on and actually fix so that you can get back to where you're supposed to, then just do that. Just do that. So you can get back there. But this one is deep for women. Like, I would need way more detail. That's why I asked that often, used to, however, like there's so much that comes into how often, because rarely is it the number of times for us. Like, it's been 3 days this week and I haven't, like, that's generally not how. I don't know. This is one that I can get deep into. I've done it on posts, especially in marriage. Like, this is a lot for women. It's a lot of pressure on women.
Yeah, I think that it's really probably the same things for men. Like, I mean, you got job ain't going well, money ain't right, body, you done gain weight. You realize as you get older, your performance ain't what it used to be. Like, it's a lot of some of the same things for men. It could also be, again, that there's just some unresolved anger that's happening there that could really be, being internalized, and instead of, and a lot of times I think the story, the narrative is that a man could do it no matter what, but there are actually times that we can't.
Mm-hmm.
There are actually times that it's like, listen, I'm so hurt or so upset or so something that I'm not interested. So it could be that. It could be, I mean, men, we don't typically say it, but men deal with, self-esteem issues too. So our self-esteem could have taken a hit for whatever reason. You could have said something to us that hurt. And instead of being able to just say, hey, that hurt my feelings, we internalize it. And it, when it's time to get there, like in our minds, it's like, yeah, I'm just not there because I'm still thinking about you said I'm whatever. So,
I really like Mike's response. You are absolutely right, Mike. Absolutely right. He says, maybe that person just don't want it as much. People's mental will shift focus based on what's happening in life. That is so men and women alike. Men and women alike.
I know there have been seasons in my life, not very many, let's just be honest. Not very many, but I'm so focused on a project that, like, you almost have to remind me, or actually my body will remind me, like, hey, I'm like, oh, my bad. I've been so busy trying to this goal to fix this or take care of this that I'm just going, So yeah, I mean, I agree with Mike. They said, because you get on my nerves. That's the reason.
That could be.
Reason.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that crazy how that's the part that we don't generally like to talk about? Like, sometimes you are not sexy right now. You are not acting like someone who should be getting sexed. You know what I mean? Like, that's why it's been a while, because you showing out. You doing too much. That's why. Don't sit there, woe is me, with your hands in your lap because ain't nobody sitting in it. It's because you are not doing what you were supposed to. Fix it.
That happens. Don't get that one. That's the thing. Yeah. I think people have to be honest. Like, you're not performing well right now. Who was it? I was talking about, I'm taking mine and going home. Who was that said that? Plies. It was Plies. He's like, you're talking about this mine. This is mine. I'm taking it and going home. But it's a reality.
It's silly.
It is a reality. All right. Section 8 said one thing Don't tie sex to half-hearted apologies. It will over time take away the passion, and she will combine the two in her hair. Yep, that's true. It's true. It's true.
Yup.
I think we did, as I thought about it, I think we asked this one on Friday, but it's still a good question, even if we did. So, so the question is, why are you moving so slow? Oh, there it is. My family hates my boyfriend. Should I go forward with the wedding or should I wait? My family hates my boyfriend. Should I go forward with the wedding or should I wait?
Why do they hate your boyfriend? I have questions.
That's a good question.
Because sometimes your family, generally your family is looking out for you first. They have no desire to just hate your boyfriend on GP. You know what I mean? So there's something that they've seen, they've witnessed, they've seen adjust in you, whatever, that may be causing them to hate your boyfriend. That's such a strong word when it comes to hate. Like, what has happened to create this hate space? But if there have been no indiscretions, no discrepancies, he treats you amazing, you're happiest that you've ever been, life is great, you're not marrying your family gonna be all right. You know what I mean? Like, be happy, sis, do you. But I always, when folks do that, hit you with the whole my family can't stand my man or my lady, they always going, why? What is it they see? Why? You know what I mean? Because, yeah, they're biased, but they're not crazy. They don't want you on their couch forever. They know you're going to have to get with somebody. You know what I mean? So the ideal that you're just, there's never going to be, I think only real, like, those super, super hovering protective parents have that idea that no one's ever going to be good enough for my baby, that type of thing. But if your mama, your cousins, your aunties, your distant folks has done made it through the grapevine and everybody showing up with the stank face at the plate, there's questions that need to be asked. You need to be having some real conversations with your family and being open, like the conversation before, being open to what they're saying. Like, see it outside of your rose-colored glasses and why the people who loved you first, loved you most, and loved you through all of the things prior to Nubu, why is it that they would create so much discourse where you find so much joy? And really figure that out.
Yeah, I do think that I would have a serious conversation. I would have a serious conversation as to the reasons why before I made a determination whether I would, and then I would also see if it was consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So if people like my friends and my parents don't talk like that. So excuse me.
Yeah. I know where you're going with that. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Thank you. So if they're saying the same thing or seeing the same thing, and these are solid relationships, you know, I would have to consider what's going on.
Yep.
I'd have to consider what they're saying and whether or not I should move forward or stop. Ultimately, it's my decision. But at least even if I chose to go forward with it, I went forward knowing what the people who supposedly have my back think and see. So I would listen. I'd want to know, what do you see? What's going on? And then sometimes, if you're like me, I don't really tell like my family and friends. They don't get a whole lot of detail into my relationship. There are very few people, you know, who know intimate details about my relationship. So I mean, like, you and Kels get insight that a lot of that probably does. You know, and there's a couple other people who do. But so if y'all all were saying the same thing, like if y'all, my mama, my dad, are saying the same, I'm like, okay, because you and my dad ain't talking. You know, Kels and my dad ain't talking. So I think that it would really depend on what's happening. And then I'd be like, okay, I know. And then I have to make that decision from there. Yeah, it's difficult. It is difficult. Because I do think that people in general want you to be happy. But I'm also not, you know, to your point, I'm not ignorant enough to not realize that unhappy people also don't have a problem with you being unhappy.
Yep.
You know, so it's kind of like, you know, and that's not a defensive thing, but it's just a reality that some people are perfectly happy with you being single for the rest of your life, or you being with somebody who fits into the mold that they think that you're supposed to be with, and not somebody who actually has needs or has things, traits that you realize that, you know what, I might not have been with that type of person before, but now this is really something that I need in my life now. So
yep, somebody's got to keep the chain breaker safe. We keep talking about breaking the chains, breaking the chains. You have to recognize if you are a chain breaker, and you have to protect your space, because those that have come up in chains don't always realize that's what's happened. Yep. You know what I mean? And that applies to all types of things, whether it be your work life, your love life, your friend life. You got to protect your space. Yep.
Teresa's comments. Teresa says, "Mine had a lot to say because he had one child, but they don't know healthy relationships either, so I married."
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Teresa says, "My family hated my ex-fiance. I knew their hate was valid, so I ended it. Please know that was not the only reason why." Yeah, some families aren't used to healthy love and feel we are all going to be lonely. Yep, that is true. Yeah, I agree with that. My only thing is I think that we have a tendency to jump directly to that. And I wouldn't necessarily assume that, unfortunately. There, and y'all, we know the bitter people in our family. Let's just know the bitter people in our family who, no matter, listen, Jesus himself could show up and they'd be like, "See, he was gone for 3 days, girl."
Yep. He didn't call, he didn't text.
He didn't say nothing, and then go say he was resurrected. Who he think he is? He just like all the rest of, you know what I mean? So you know who the bitter people are. So I would say for those people, you have to kind of take them with a grain of salt. But again, if your relationship is solid and you never shown me that, I gotta listen. I gotta at least listen and process it. And I always say, with anything, people I like or don't like, I always say, like, hear them, because even people who don't like you have valid things to say sometimes, and you got to learn how to take the meat and take the meat and throw away the bone. So listen to them, process it, and be like, nah, what they're saying, I hear what they're saying, I processed it, I thought through it, and that's not right. So I'm good.
Mm-hmm. So, you've done your due diligence and thought for yourself. Yep.
Exactly. I love my family nothing. Listen, again, some families you can't.
You got to pick and choose.
And there are people in my family who I won't. So I absolutely get that. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. All right. Next one. See, this is why y'all should have been there Friday. These are some good questions. I do miss our in-person ones. Our in-person forums. We get to play more games in person, so but that's all right. We're gonna get back. Tori said, "Thank you for the meat you give me." Have a nice day. I know that's right. The question is it possible to cheat-proof a relationship? Question: is it possible to cheat-proof a relationship?
No. Yeah. I mean, you can do your very best to set yourself up for success, but I still believe humans are going to human. I really don't. I'm sorry. I just really don't. You could, like, if two people who are absolutely against not cheating, are against cheating. Yeah. That's essentially a cheat-proof relationship, I would think. Like the best possible setup to be cheat-proof. There you go. But no, I don't know. Like these one-liners are killing me. I guess the lack of words is throwing me for a loop, because it's like, where do I even go with this? What? I just can imagine so much of what long-term relationships go through. And this is the assumption that both people are on equal, emotional maturity levels. We both communicate well. We have good, we know our love language and our trauma languages. We know how our trigger languages. We know how to, good conflict resolution. Like there's so many variables that come into cheat-proofing your relationship. Because when you think about reasons that people do go out and cheat. You know what I mean? Like those things align with other personality traits. So you'd have to have two perfect people to ensure that you have a cheat-proof relationship. Like, so no. Send it back, checking back in. I don't see it happening.
So, okay. So I say it's possible, but the amount of work and I say I don't like the word work with relationships too often, but the amount of effort, let me say that it takes to cheat proof a relationship is doggone near impossible. Because even people who have the constitution of hate cheating, with enough vitriol and anger and hate, will cheat. And that's not even including if we are talking about emotional cheating, emotional infidelity, or those other things. Even if just in physical, we're talking about physical cheating. I think the only that it's impossible to cheat proof a relationship. I think it's possible to do a good job of trying to cheat proof your.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because to cheat proof a relationship to me means that you have to have an environment where two people are so in tune with one another, attuned to one another, that the environment is constantly
nurturing love.
Yeah, nurturing and loving, and both people understand not so much just the trigger language and love language, but even have the space to communicate when they feel something that is negative. You know what I mean? Like feel like, hey, I'm not getting what I want. And over the course of 20, 30, 40 years, that's hard to maintain on a consistent basis. So cheat proof, I would say it's very difficult. It's possible, absolutely, but I think it's so hard that it's super, 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 super. I hate to say this because now I don't want to sound like a cynic either, but it's almost like you got to be lucky. Because I don't think everybody cheats, and I don't want to say that, but I think that you almost have to, like, it has to almost be like a thing of you was about to, and something happened and accepted you, and you're like, ooh, yeah, you know what I mean? Because I just think it's a long time.
Forever is a long time. I say it all the time.
A long time, and not so much that it's a long time, but it's a long time and a lot of emotion to have to process, and a lot of brokenness to have to work through. So you almost, again, I was gonna say, you have even people who have strong constitutions about infidelity, still you will find that they're going to struggle with that again on every level because it's difficult. It's just that difficult. And if you could develop the type of relationship where like a man and a woman can both say, hey, you ain't doing it for me right now, and I'm really feeling like I'm about to go out and step out, like that's, to me, would be dope.
That's expert level communication right there. That's master level communication. To be able, and then to be able to be confident enough to adjust and fix it, to avoid that, instead of going so deep into self that now it's all, because that, again, emotional maturity. You got to be willing to take that and give something back from it instantly.
Yep. I mean, if you think about it, like if your spouse came to you, not you, I mean people in general. If our spouse came to us and like, hey, I'm not feeling you right now, and I feel like I'm about to go cheat. Like that's like a.
After being cheated on, I would prefer that to then finding out later on that you cheated. Like after experiencing that, hands down, even because I'm still here. You know what I mean? I would still prefer that in this space to just doing it and then we have the conversation after it's done as to why you've gone and done what you've done.
Right. But the other person has to be in a place where they can do it and still, so you know what I mean? And then and do
it in a way that garners safety within the relationship. Because you do have to realize that at some capacity you're telling your other they're not enough. They're not hitting the enough button for you. So you can't just put that out there across the table in the midst of an argument where, I'm on my way out. Like, no, like that's not how you do that. That's not how you do that, because they're not in a space to receive it at that point. It's not being done in love. Can we address Stephanie's question real quick before we go on about the trigger languages?
Go ahead.
So love languages, are the touch, the feel, the touch, the talk, all of the 5 love languages. A few months ago, Medina, I hope this is still on the thread, but Medina shared something to the Scoop where we talked about trigger languages. And these are essentially the opposite of the love languages. These are the things that you need to recognize or know about your spouse, your lover, your friends, your children, the people that you love. You need to know the triggers that shut down the love in them. You need to know the behaviors, the experiences, the things that can trigger them to feel less loving, less loved, less willing to be loved. And you have to also protect your relationship from constantly using those languages to manipulate and deal with your spouse within the relationships. Those are the things that I think often we neglect and cause more problems within the relationship, because we spend so much time trying to do the warm and fuzzy and the pretty love languages, and we totally neglect how important trigger languages are to our spouses and the people that we love just in general. So yeah, trigger languages are huge, and we should talk about them much more. But yeah, that's what that is in a nutshell. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, I just posted a link too.
Okay.
Yeah, agree. All right. Next one. Yes, buddy. You come in.
We're not doing anything?
Yeah, I'm still on the show. What you need?
Hey, nephew.
Hi.
Hi.
How am I?
You're not. It's just a figure of speech. Son.
Okay. Can I get a snack on my backpack?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So I'm going to go do that too, sir. Spring break.
Mm-hmm. Bedtime for who?
Correct. Where there definitely is. If you all have not seen the 5 apology languages, that's something that you should look at as well. Yes. Next question is, how do you know when it's time to break up? How do you know when it's time to break up?
When you're no longer loving, when you are out of character. I think when you no longer recognize you in your relationship, it is time. When you are showing out, when you are not showing up as self for an extended period of time. Like, yep, there are seasons where we might have to adjust and, do our thing to match the energy of the space. But if you have found that you are spending more of your time in a space you do not recognize who you are or the person that you're sharing this space with, it's time to go. It's time to, when you are compromising your core way often than you should, just for the sake of saying that you're there, it's time to go. That's really the best that I could come up, because I'm one of the people that I'm gonna put in a good fight. I'm gonna hang around and long after I'm supposed to. But I would think that's the thing. When you see that you are not showing up as you, and you don't see you in that space anymore, it's time to go. Yeah. And that's honestly probably long before then. Like, you should probably go long before you start to disappear. Like, but again, I gave my disclaimer. Like, yeah.
I was gonna say, I think I'm probably not the best person to ask this, but for me, it's the moment that I feel like, when I know, not what I think, but when I know I have given and done enough. When it gets to the point where what I'm giving you, here it is. When I feel like what I'm giving you consistently is the thing that I need to live off of, it is time to go. I think that we are supposed to give to others from the overflow. Like we're given enough We're giving us, and the overflow of us is what we give to others. But when I start giving you the part of me that is supposed to be for me to survive off of, for me to live, for me to maintain my peace, for me to go to work, for me to fulfill the purpose of my life, when I start having to give that to you, you are now in violation of this relationship. Because I believe that the relationship is supposed to make us both better. So I'm supposed to be, a totally whole, full person. You're a full person, and when we come together, we make this dynamic team. That has more fullness. But I can no longer be full, and I'm emotionally bankrupt, and I'm physically bankrupt, and I can't even think. My mental capacity is now changing because, again, I'm giving you what I'm supposed to use. It's time to go. Like, this relationship is now becoming, and I'm not going to use the word toxic because I'm tired of that word, but I think it's damning. Like, it's robbing you. And again, I think there are going to be seasons. Hear me when I say this. There are seasons, I think, in relationships where we feel like that. When we have kids, we're going to feel like that. When we have, because kids take a lot out of us. Kids are going to do, and so we're going to have to expend some of that capital that we have in us to give to our spouse because our kid takes so much. But that's supposed to be both of us doing it.
Yeah.
But when it's just me and I'm constantly giving you, that's when you get to, Shatora, to your point, when you start losing your peace. You get to that, and then you start losing peace. Because now, like you said, the things that really don't agitate you now all of a sudden start to agitate you. Or the things that you're supposed to be able to do like that come easy to you and natural, they're not natural anymore. And they're not natural anymore because the part of you that does that is now being eroded by this relationship. So when that's gone, it's time to go.
I honestly think both of us let it go too far. We both allowed it to get too much of us gone before we said it's enough. I think after listening to both of our reasons, I think when your dams and Fs, and y'all know I'm really trying to, when those don't replenish, okay, because how we quick to say I'm fresh out of that for this situation, or I'm fresh out, I don't have no more to say or give to this. When they no longer replenish for that person, it's time to go. And that generally happens before we start to disappear, because the F's go away, the dams don't replenish, and now we just in this. So now we just gonna figure it out. This is my routine now. This is standard way of living. And that's when you start to piece off pieces, because you out of the dams that you needed to maintain, to cover the outside, to keep the overflow. You know what I mean? The dams is what kept everything on the inside for you so that you could continue to provide the overflow. When those don't replenish, that's when you start to break off the pieces. So as soon as you realize that something's not replenishing as far as my care, because for those that don't know and they haven't heard me speak on a regular basis, the dams and Fs are basically the cares. How much care do I have for your thing, for this issue, for your problem, for this need that you have, this desire that you have? Do I really care enough to try? Like, when you no longer care enough to try, it's time for you to move around. Because after you pass that point, it's not love. It's either an obligation. It's a I'm tolerating you. It's a this is just what we do. You know what I mean? Like, it's a consolation until something else. It's not really the good stuff. You know what I mean? Once you're out of care, you move into the danger zone when you start to numb yourself to those things. So yeah.
Yep, that's good. Good. All right. What's Mike saying? People know when it's over, and they have a sober view of relation.
Yeah,
have to have a sober view of relation. Absolutely, agree.
I don't think you should move everybody away from not share nothing with your people. I think sometimes you have to keep a healthy perspective outside looking into your thing, because we can get drunk on our drama. When we bring it sober into it, we can get drunk on our mess and really not see it until some one line items Like, do you realize all that you've been doing? This is not healthy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but we're so quick to tell everybody, don't tell nobody. What happens in your house stays in your house. Nothing, you know. But when you get caught up in that confusion, it's hard to even see.
And you need somebody.
Yeah.
Be my eyes. What do you see? Be
I'm
my
doing
eyes.
this right now. Yeah.
What do you see? What do you look? What do you see, and what do you see from me? Am I changing? Am I off? Am I? What's going on with me? Like, where am I at right now? Because sometimes I don't even know where I'm at. So when you get to that point, you need some extra eyes.
Wise counsel, not just whoever's available. Wise counsel.
Not the person who just gonna agree with you and be like, yeah, man, she horrible. Like, yeah, he ain't nothing, girl. No, people who, and let them know. I need you to talk now. This ain't the time for you just to listen. I need you to talk. Talk. Tell me. Talk now. So let them know that, because a good person, a good friend is going to think, is going to be like, okay, I ain't gonna try to, I ain't trying to break up your home.
Right.
But is this okay? Now you want me to talk? Okay, good. This is what I've been seeing.
Yep.
And you get the opportunity.
That will call you on yours and call attention to theirs, because that's necessary. If the person you go to won't call you out on you being left field, then that's not the person you need to be talking to.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Last one. What should I do to get over my ex? What should I do to get over my ex?
Time. I really think that if you're even asking what to do to get over, and that's no shade, no negativity, that's just stating where you are. You're needing additional assistance. There's not something that you can get from an outside source that's going to do that. You're going to need your time to work through it, heal, talk, if it's counseling, journal, whatever it is, but you need the time to work that out of your psyche, out of your soul, out of your heart, out of your brain. You know what I mean? Like, if you've done it right, you need a minute. Like, if you've loved the right way within a relationship, you're going to need a second after it's over. You know what I mean? So the whole get over this person or that person, you need to give yourself time to do that. You deserve the time to do that, because you did your heart well by loving, growing, doing all of the things, and for whatever reason, it is not there. So how dare you rush your heart into something else simply because you've expired that other thing? Your heart deserves the time to be ready for the next thing.
Oh, good question. Oh, okay. Go on a book. This is gonna go on a book. All right, so here it is. I would say I agree. You need time. I think more than time, or maybe next to time. You need to really lick your wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And by lick your wounds, what I mean is take the time to see what this relationship did for you, did to you, what you gave away, and heal. Because to Q's point, if you did a relationship well and you loved hard, you gave something. You gave something of value.
Yep.
And that value is going to take time for you to re-nurture. And on top of that, you need to be honest that you're not the same person who you were when you went into the relationship. Honor the fact that this relationship, whether you at the moment consider it good or bad, you changed, you developed, you matured in some areas and maybe digressed in some areas, but you're not the same person. And so now you have to take, to your point, the time to fall in love with the person who you are at that particular moment.
Yep.
Because the person you were, I don't care if that relationship was 6 months. If in 6 months you have developed some habits, you've developed some traits, you've developed some since we love to use this word, tie, soul ties to a person, and now we're new, we're different, and so we got to say, who am I now? And I got to love this person now, and I got to figure out, figure out, like, do I like this person first of all, and if I don't, what do I need to get rid of, and if I do, just fall in love with them and move forward with your life, because it is getting over an ex can and should be, if it's done well, it should be difficult. It should be difficult because you gave something of value to someone, and for some reason, either your expectation wasn't met, or they mishandled your heart. So that's gonna hurt.
Or sometimes it was you.
Or sometimes it was
you. Need to figure yourself out. You need to get yourself together, because you can't just be out here messing up love like that. Like, I'm just gonna say that. Like,
absolutely.
At some point, it can absolutely be you. And if you are the reason after your relationship is over and you realize, I did not do what I was supposed to do
that well,
you better sit down and figure that out.
Well, a part of falling in love with who you are then is being honest to say about the parts that you screwed up. Whether you were the final cause, you were a cause.
Yep. I suck at
it. Either you did it or you allowed it. Mm-hmm. Either you didn't put an end to it earlier. You know what I mean? Like, so, or you didn't investigate early enough to find out that this person was that person. You know what I mean? So that you have some fault in there. Yeah, we'll use the word fault in there that you need to deal with. Absolutely. But you still need to say, this is who I am now.
Yep.
At one point I was like, I pick needy women.
Yeah, you do. Sorry, but I mean, yeah, you do.
I did. I'm not gonna lie. One time I had to like, I pick women who I'm supposed to preach to, and then get mad when they want me to preach to them all the time.
Yeah.
How do I get mad at something that I picked? I did this. Like, I can't be mad at that. Like, oh, hell, I did that to me. So now I got to say, if that's not what I want, then now I have to do the work to do something about me, that I'm still going to attract that type of person, because that's who I am, but not in that context, not in the context of a relationship. Like, in a relationship, I can't deal with a certain level of needy, because that just drains me and keeps me from doing the things that I do. And so now, as you know, I tell people up front, if you're looking for a pastor, don't date me.
Yeah.
I could be a pastor, but I can't be a pastor.
I remember a time where it was hard for you to separate the two, where you struggled to vocalize that. You know what I mean? And that is a testament to the growth, because it's hard, especially when you're getting comfortable in a situation, to separate your desires from your duty. And a lot of the times people do that. They will think, okay, my job says I should be with this. My family is set up like this, and we work with people like this, and those types of things. So that your duty does not always align with your desires. So we have to be willing to say that out loud and then act on it in real time, so that we don't spend our time, you know what I mean, spinning your wheel. You're just repeating the same cycle. That's how you end up, man, all attracted. You're right. That's all you keep. That's not all you try, that's all you keep. Like the post we talked about a few weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like, we have to see that. And that is that maturity piece. Like, I'm doing this. You look back, I've got a record. My track record says.
It's my habit. Like that.
Yes.
So yeah, I that's how you get over them. I think you deal with it.
Yeah.
So this is why y'all miss. So once again, let me tell y'all about my book.
It's a great book.
Thank you, sir.
Also, if you're watching this, make sure you go like and subscribe to the video.
That's right. That's right. I do have to do this too. We had a bet earlier that if he beat me in Gran Turismo, I have to tell everybody that his YouTube channel is better than mine. So go and subscribe to Trey Burns World on YouTube. There you go. He beat me in Gran Turismo. So
good job, Trey. That's the bargain I'm talking about right there. Bargain for promo. Good job, baby.
Buy my book, yes. And go buy my book, Surviving Relationships Storm.
It's a great book. Also, make sure
All
you
right.
read the entire thing.
All right. Thank you, sir.
I think there's chapters.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, that got
All right. Final word. Final thoughts, Q. Go for it.
This is fun. I like this right here. We have to do the question thing again. Like, I don't know how we need to set it up so folks can send us questions, but I like this. Did y'all like the questions? Let us know. Tell us if y'all like the whole question and answer. Share your thoughts thing. I thought that was fun. Yeah, this was a good show. I've enjoyed tonight very much. We got some good stuff shared. I think going forward, especially as we get ready to get back out and engage with each other, we have literally been away from one another for a year plus. You know what I mean? Where we have been very secluded, we have been very small in how we interact. So I want us, when we do get back out and start to reach out and touch and engage and get intimate again with people, let's be more intentional, because we see how quickly that can be snatched. Let's be more intentional about the time and the energy and the people that we are engaging with, and make those moments matter, because we don't always have those. You know what I mean? So like, we don't have time to be playing going forward. So I think that's kind of what I got out of all of these conversations, and the way that it keeps circling back to growth and giving a damn. After being locked down with all these freedoms that we are so used to and keep fussing about, that we miss so much, how quickly that can be snatched. And the people that we love can be moved, you know what I mean, around. We have to reach and do the Zoom thing. You know what I mean? Like, let's be more intentional. And we can start now, because it's going to be here in no time, but we need to start now in doing that. Intention is everything. Effort goes such a long way. So yeah. Let's be intentional. Next 7 days, I challenge you to be intentional. Come back and tell me about it on next Tuesday.
All right. Okay. Y'all like the Q&A sessions? I loved it. Yes, good. Okay. All right. Good.
We hear you, Riggs. We hear you.
Good. All right. Yeah. Good time. Really good week so far. Again, I want to say thank you to everybody who participated Friday night for our virtual forum, and everyone who has purchased the book so far. Q told me before the show I needed to be happy about where I am and not fuss so much about where I'm trying to be. So I'm going to do that because I have goals. I have a goal to do a certain number of pre-orders, and so so I'm gonna stop and smell the roses for a moment.
I had to add them, y'all. I had to get them together. No. I said, if I'm being optimistic, you got room to be optimistic. Now, when I start to side out there, we talk about it. But right now, you in the safe place. We're going to celebrate every win right now. So yes, go buy Panda's book so he can stop counting numbers and looking at these damn milestone markers, and he can just be happy for all this work he's doing for this amazing day.
I got a daily number that I'm trying to hit. I'm like, hey, let's go. So anyway, buy the book now. It's a good book.
No, for real, buy the book.
So yeah, but no, I appreciate all of you all for being here. I appreciate all of your responses and your comments. Y'all, it is an absolute privilege to do this with you all every week. And so I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your shares. Like, y'all really don't know. This gives us life to do this with you. So I appreciate everyone. Of course, I appreciate you. I appreciate Kels. I appreciate all of our co-hosts. Yeah, so this is something. As I said, this is a labor of love, and I learned from it. So so I just want to say thank you. So I hope y'all have a good rest of your week. This is spring break, so
y'all. I've been back for like 2 weeks.
we spring breaking this week, so. Y'all have a good rest of your week. We'll be back next week. Next week's gonna be funny. So y'all be here next week for our latest show. Y'all have a good night. You don't even want love. Tell me when you're in love. If you could
just give it, but you just spend it while you standing here. But you say you're with me, and then you try to diss me. So I try to keep it low when you knock me to the floor, cause I don't wanna cry no tears. Would you believe this love is forever gone? And would you take this long, sweet road and pull it together? Baby, if this is goodbye, I want one last try. You just can't give up. Can't you see the tears in my eyes? Cause I'm gonna try. Baby, I'll treat you right. Just give me one more try. If this is goodbye, if this is goodbye, I think you wanna do love. They tell me what to do love.
Good night.
Think you can just give it what you